Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week is a special week for me because it's the first year anniversary of livealittlehigher.com. I began posting in my website a year ago, exactly with this parasha Lech Lecha, which has a very special place in my heart. It's the parasha in which my husband decided to become Shomer Shabbat 16 years ago. And it has brought us to an incredible journey where I would never ever imagine I would ever be teaching you online via YouTube and livealittlehigher.com. So I want to thank God personally for giving me all these blessings and being able to bring His wisdom into the world. So today we're going to be talking about altruism and the reason we do mitzvahs. Do we do them for ourselves or do we do them for God? It's a very big question. Most of us really, we have human nature, we're human beings, and we have our self-interest, we have our self-gratification, and all this is part of who we are. And Hashem is not asking us to be something we're not. And He gives us all these parashas so we can learn how to cope with these feelings and the way we should be. And this week He gives us the insights through Abraham Avinu, our forefather, our first forefather. So Abraham's nephew Lot, they left the land of Uzbekistan and went to Canaan. Later on, Lot decided to move away from his uncle Abraham, and he went to Sodom and Gomorrah to live, and they separated themselves. But this Lot was caught in the crossfire of a battle that was going on, a war between 4 kings and 5 kings. And Abraham, as good as he was not going to let his nephew fall into the hands of wicked kings. So he geared up, and the Torah says that he took an army of 318 men, which is actually the gematria of the name of Eliezer, who was his servant. And Rashi explains that Eliezer was actually the army. It was him and Eliezer. There was not 318 men. And why does he tell us this? Because he wants to show us that they were able to save Lot. They were able to win this battle between these kings, between Abraham and Eliezer alone, and it was actually a complete miracle from God. It was miraculous. So after Hashem came to Abraham in a vision saying, "Fear not, Abraham, I'm your shield, your reward is exceedingly great." And this shows that Abraham, or Abram at that moment, he was called Abram, was very worried about something. And that's why Hashem said to him this. And what was he worried about? He was worried that Hashem had shown him so much kindness in his life. He had been saved from his father because he was upset at him that he was not worshipping idols, and then he saved him from the fiery furnace where King Nimrod threw him in, and then he took him out of this land and took him to Israel, to Canaan, and he gave him many riches, and he has always taken care of him and in a miraculous way. So he was very worried that all this kindness that God had given him in this world was going to take away the reward that was intended for him in the world to come. And this was his worry. So here it says, the rabbis explain, Abraham was afraid and said, "I was thrown into the fiery furnace and I was saved. I engaged the kings in battle and I was saved. Perhaps I have received my reward in this world and will receive no reward in the world to come." God responded, "Fear not, I'm your shield. All I have done for you in this world, I have done gratis, for free. Your reward in the world to come still awaits you." So, Abraham's view here is that the true reward comes in the world to come. And this is a Jewish way of looking at the mitzvahs we do. They come with our reward. We know they come with our reward. But the reward that comes to us is not in this world, is in the world to come. And once I heard a rabbi saying that, I asked him, why do we get reward in this world? Like, we get reward. You do a good thing and you see it. There's an effect afterwards. And he said, you know, it's the way Hashem is telling you that He sees what you're doing. It's to give you strength to continue doing good things. It's like He's giving you hisuk, strength. But it's not the reward. The reward really comes in the world to come. So perhaps the sign is that he shouldn't accept anything in the world to come. So this was his worry. And Hashem told him, don't worry, all this is a bonus. Like, what I'm giving you is a bonus. And puts us into a question. This is a very big philosophical question that we would ask. How come a man like Abraham at this moment, who loved God completely and was altruistic, could be thinking about a reward? Like, what does he care about the reward? Like, he's not like us, like these human beings that are like human. Like, Abraham was completely connected to Hashem. He was a chariot of God. So what was his problem? Why was he so worried? So here the Pirkei Avot says, Antigonus of Soho received the tradition from Shimon the righteous. He would say, do not be as servants who serve their master for the sake of a reward. Rather be as servants who serve their master not for the sake of a reward, and the fear of heaven should be upon you. So Rabbi Amar from Golden Beach in Florida once taught us in a class. He said, many people do mitzvahs because they expect a reward in the world to come. But we should not do our mitzvahs expecting a reward in the world to come, because then we're not doing them for Hashem, we're doing them for ourselves. So he says, rather, when you do a mitzvah, you know Hashem is building a home for you in the world to come. Instead of thinking about your home in the world to come, every time you do a mitzvah, think about the home you're building for God in this world. So when you're doing a mitzvah, your intention should be, every mitzvah I do is building a home for God in this world. It's allowing God to live in this world. And then let God worry about your home in the world to come. So our life in this world should be worrying about Hashem, not about us. So this is the intention that we should have, and we should try to integrate into our lives every time that we do a mitzvah. So how come Abraham didn't get the point? How can it be that such a man that was all hesed, all love and kindness, would be worried about his reward in the world to come? So here comes Rambam, and he makes it even more perplexing by saying, this is a very high level that is not merited by every wise man. It is the level of our patriarch Abraham, whom God described as he who loved me, for his service was only motivated by love. And God commanded us to seek this wrong of service as conveyed by Moses, as the verse states, love God your Lord. When a man will love God in the proper manner, he will immediately perform all of the mitzvahs motivated by love. So in reality, Abraham was not worried that he would miss the reward in the world to come. That was not his problem. He could care less about the reward in the world to come. His worry was the quality of his service. That his service was not good enough for Hashem. That was his worry. So Hashem answers, fear not, Abram, your reward is exceedingly great, your service is exceedingly great, so the reward will be exceedingly great. So don't worry. Nobody has ever served me the way you're serving me. I know everything you do is for me. So here, what the Torah is teaching us is the intention. What we put into the things we do really counts a lot. It's very important. And I'm telling you this because when you're aware of it, then you can start living a life in which you are more mindful of the things you do and how you do them. This is to perfect yourself, to refine yourself. But nevertheless, we should never feel down if we're not there yet. Okay? Because Hashem really understands the way we behave. He understands perfectly our innermost parts. He made us. We're human. We have human nature. We have human tendencies, we have a Yetzer Hara, we have an animal soul, we're animalistic, and he understands that we have this duality and we have these forces inside of us. So what we have to do, what Hashem is asking from us, is do the best you can. Do the best you can at the moment where you are. Don't do less than what you can do. Do the best. And Hasidut teaches, even if you do a mitzvah for the wrong reason, do it anyways, because at the end, you will eventually do it for the right reason. So even if you're gonna give that nice check to the organization that is, you went to this nice dinner that is raising money for children in Israel, and you're gonna give a big check because your friend sitting next to you is giving a big check and you feel bad if you don't give it, and you're gonna give it for this reason or because you want a nice plaque in the wall saying that you gave a donation, give it anyways. Don't stop giving because you feel this is not the right intention into giving the donation. Because the Rebbe says, he adds, the Alter Rebbe, Shneur Salman of Liadi, even within your current imperfectly intentioned mitzvah, there exists right now a kernel of true altruism. So even if we do the mitzvah for the wrong reason, deep inside, our essence is doing it for the right reason. We have a godly neshama. We have a part of us that is godly, that is really altruistic. And it's part of us too. So even if it would look in the outside that we're doing it for the wrong reason, really deep inside, we are doing it for the right reason. A person should always occupy himself with the Torah, even when it's not for God's sake. For out of service that is not intended for God's sake will come service that is intended for God's sake. This doesn't only mean that one will eventually come to serve God for God's sake in the future. Rather, it means that even now, even if your intentions right now are not the right intentions, the essence of one service that is not intended for God's sake is indeed for God's sake. Every Jew, no matter where he or she stands spiritually, has at their core the desire and intention to fulfill God's will. So every Jew at his or her core has a perfect, unattainted, godly soul. And so far we have learned that the core of every man is altruistic. We all want to be altruistic. We all want to do the right thing. And even if we do the non-altruistic deed, it has a kernel of altruism. And there's three components to such a deed. The number one is the good that comes from the deed itself. Even if you give that check for the wrong reason, the people who are going to receive it are going to benefit from them. There's going to be a school that is going to be built. There's going to be a Torah scroll that is going to be written. There's going to be people who are going to be fed. It doesn't matter. The good will come out of it. There's no bad that's going to come out from that. So even if you're not doing it for the right reason, do it anyways, because at least you're doing something good. And then number two says the core desire of the soul to do that deed, it is for God's sake, because internally, in our essence, we do want to do Hashem's will. And the third thing it says here is the more tangible external desire is for the reward. So the reward is something that comes with the mitzvah. It's not a sin to want a reward. We know there is a reward. Hashem created a world where there is cause and effect. If you do A, you get B. If you do B, you get C. That's the way it works. That's the way Hashem created the world. And we know that if we do things in this world that are worthy, that are Hashem's will, Hashem has a reward for us. So it's not a sin. It's not sinful to know that we're going to get a reward. It should not be the reason we do things. We shouldn't do them for that. But we know that it comes with the mitzvah. So the desire for the reward really is a distraction, because when we're searching for honor, for fame, for respect, for admiration, to feel good about ourselves, for self-esteem, then it distracts us from the real purpose. So Avram's reward was part of divine service. His reward was to serve Hashem. And that's why it says that the reward of a mitzvah is another mitzvah. Because when you do something good, then another goodness comes to you. That's the reward. So Abraham wanted to show other people just how true and righteous God was. That was his whole intention. So he wanted the reward. He wanted the reward to show people that if you are a God-fearing Jew and you're living up to Hashem's will, Hashem will give you things. He will give you a good life. He will give you health. He will give you money. He will give you all the things you need. To show, and he didn't want it for himself. He wanted for people to see that Hashem is a just and righteous God. And main thing in this world is the deed. So the most important thing we can do ever is the action. This is the world of action, the world of Asiya. We live in the world of Asiya, and it's the world of action. So the most important thing here in this world where we are right now is our actions and the underlying real desire of the soul to do the deed. And the message is clear. Often we get distracted by the external. For example, people go to the synagogue, and I've seen it, they go to talk, and they're not praying, and they're talking and talking and talking, and it's the worst thing you can do. You have to keep quiet while they're learning the Torah. And they go, it's a social scene. But you know what? It's better that they go than they don't go. Because at least they're going, they're doing something. And charity, okay, you want the plaque in the donor's wall. Yeah. That's what's pulling you. But you know what? Give it anyways. Because even if your plaque is over there, your money is doing good things. And Shabbat meal, some people invite people, and then while they're putting the table, they're cooking the food, they're taking pictures of everything they're doing, they're posting in Instagram, they're posting in Facebook. Why? They want recognition, they want the likes, they want people to know they're good cooks, they want people to see how beautiful their table is set. Maybe the last thing they have in their head is the Shabbat. But you know what? Do it anyways. Because you know what? At the end, it's a Kiddush Hashem. You're elevating the name of God. You're showing God's greatness in this world. So it doesn't matter. Don't stop doing it. The desire to host a meal and get compliments comes from a good place. It comes from a very deep place. Comes from a part that we want to share with others, that we want to show Hashem, the others, our friends, our people around us, how good God is with us, and the goodness of living a Jewish life. So remember, my friends, try to always have the good intention. Even if you don't have the good intention, do it. But this class should bring you a step higher, to living a little higher, and having good intentions when you do things, because in reality, it will take you a little higher. And that's the whole point. So I wish you a good week, a blessed week. Lech Lecha. Go to your place. Go to who you really are. That's what it means when Hashem says to Abraham, Lech Lecha, go to the place I'm going to show you. Really is go to yourself. Go to your inner self. Go to your essence. Go to your true self. And this is the biggest blessing we can have ever. So I wish you a good week and live a little higher. Thank you.